Bing! Hello, folks. Welcome to Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. I am Erik Tenkar, and with me is Old Man Grognard, Glen Halstrom.
This is your pilot speaking. We will be flying about 5,000 feet over the Forgotten Realms.
And of course, almost as guaranteed, my son decides to, they must be starting a podcast, Fleetcast. Let me call, because that's what I fucking do. Oh, Jesus Christ. I love him, but. So,
you know,
folks.
You remember in the days of YouTube
what?
where your potty mouth wouldn't cut mustard?
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember the early days of YouTube. It's like, you don't cuss there.
You can't use adult language. And now I think with YouTube is that you become demonetized if you say too many bad words. But here's the deal: I'm not monetized anyway, so I don't give a flying fig.
I have a channel I couldn't get monetized to save my life because I don't have enough views per month.
Well, you need 1,000 subscribers.
I got them.
All right. Well, I don't have them.
They took that all away when they changed it, deciding, we just want the popular people to make money. So,
right. So you need 1,000 subscribers and a certain number of views. You're right. You need both.
Here's something that'll tell you I'm not on Thaco's Hammer or Radio Grognard. There you go, YouTube.
Those are listening to the podcast side of this. It was a visual. And I'll explain it as you can read between the lines if you're holding up 3 fingers.
Hey, after this is live and it's recorded, can you blur out the finger?
No, I can't. Listen, I don't edit. I don't edit shite, so that ain't happening. So, folks, we have a couple of things that we're gonna tap on. Some of them are directly D&D related. Some of them are just related to the industry in general. But
some are just related to us knuckleheads.
Yes. If I talk about the amazing substitute to garlic salt that I used the other night,
where'd that come from?
Somebody named I think Blue Rooster.
Blue Rooster.
It was spot on awesome. You can tell Becky that. I mean, I presented Rachel the dish, and she's like, my God, I can really smell the garlic. This smells like really good. I'm like, that is the freshest dried garlic. Can you have fresh dried? I guess so. It is the most aromatic.
We also have onion powder and paprika, and we just got in cinnamon.
I have the onion powder and the paprika. I haven't had a chance to use them yet. I will, but it was spot on awesome. So one thing I want to touch on, and I touched on this probably a little bit earlier today, but I want to get Glen's feedback on this too. Glen, I contend that if you are a freelancer, or actually, I'll take that a step further. If you work for somebody else, okay. If you work for somebody, you are to some extent a cog in the wheel. You are interchangeable. Nothing.
It's like you're a contractor.
Yeah, but it's like if they can get somebody else to do the same work cheaper, or if they can have somebody else do the same work quicker, or they can do something. If you're a writer, somebody who can write to spec as opposed to writing what they want, as opposed to what your publisher wants, that's what they're going to go with. There are very few freelancers in our community or in gaming that are hired because they have a fan base and a proven track record that they can maybe go off script, and it's like, oh wow, you went off script, and that's great. Usually it's like, this is what we want, this number of words, this is what the adventure should be like, and give me something that's going to fit that.
Nature of business.
And to a large extent that carries on to almost any job. And I was a cop. I was interchangeable with one of thousands of other cops for pretty much. Even when I did crime stats, took me a while to learn it. It took me a while to learn how to do maps. But guess what? If I had suddenly got transferred, or if I was out long-term sick, they would have thrown somebody into the fire, and within days or weeks, they would have been up to speed and doing my job, and I would no longer be indispensable. And that's just the reality of
you gotta
life.
work up to that. I mean, Stephen King was a cog once.
Right. And that is it's part of the reality of life. The only time that you're not a cog, the only time that you are valued over the product or the work that you do is when you work for yourself.
True.
When
But even then, I just think of myself as a smaller cog. Because
so you still have to make bills. You still have to pay the rent.
Right.
So you still have to work to some kind of spec, I guess.
Yeah, and one thing I don't like about the job is it seems like you're always hustling.
Right. Oh, if you're a freelancer,
I mean, it's the same for being an actor. You're always hustling.
Right. No, and that is true, and you have to, because listen, if you are in the position of being a cog, and again, I was one of thousands of cops on NYPD, and even thousands of sergeants when I was a sergeant. But if you are a freelancer in the RPG industry, you are literally one of hundreds of people vying for the same assignment that somebody else is. And many times you're going to get that out of pure luck. Maybe it's going to be a little bit of nepotism.
And you're still talking about a niche of a niche.
Yes.
Imagine how many people are out there in just the general illustration field. Like 10 times
Definitely.
10.
Right. And that's the other thing. I look at artists, and you're an artist, and I always have argued, and I've always thought that artists are underpaid for what they can do. Because listen, I can write. If I put my mind to it, I can write. I can put out something serviceable. It might not be quick. It might take a struggle, but I can write, and I can get something out there. But doesn't matter. You could put a gun to my head, I'll never be able to fucking draw. Okay, that's something that is not a talent that I have, and I always see artists as, and you can teach almost anybody how to write with enough practice, but you need some innate talent. I'll go as far as say it's Good Friday. You need some, God-given talent and inspiration to start out with to be a really good artist. And I'm not saying that good writers don't have that blessing. Not anybody can draw. Trust me, I can't draw.
Anybody can draw. It all depends on if you're going to apply to it or not, or it's your thing. I contend that everybody has a sense of humor. It's not always very developed in some people, but everybody has a sense of humor.
Yeah. All right. Some people have a bad sense of humor. I'll grant you that.
Well, but it's a sense of humor. So there you go. But as far as like freelancing goes, yeah, I don't really know my worth as an artist.
Right.
As far as like what to get paid or what the terms are and all this other, it's just business stuff that is beyond me. I mean, people like Lloyd Metcalf or Dyson Logos, God bless them, because they can make it work, and it's like what I need to is a business partner or a business manager or something. Somebody almost like in the acting, you need an agent, to get your face in front of people. I told my therapist today, I said, I can't sell anything. I couldn't sell hot water to Eskimos. But I said, the worst part is the part that makes me feel the worst is I can't sell myself. And artists need to sell themselves, or at least my work, which is selling yourself too, But, that's my take.
It's funny because I was just thinking of James Shields as one of the artists who definitely has a natural talent. Because you can have a natural talent for art, but anybody can train themselves to illustrate. I have a friend who
Uh-huh.
taught himself to draw, but didn't start with a natural aptitude. And that is certainly true. However, I'll take it a step further and say those that have the natural aptitude
Mhm.
are like Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11. They have that extra talent but yeah, you can be an illustrator, you can do art, but to have something that's special and connects to people, that's
Mhm.
the natural talent. Same thing with writers. You have writers out there that are naturally good storytellers, and it shows. And any of this stuff, you only get better by doing it.
That's
I've
right.
been I've been blogging for 11, 12 fucking years. I don't even know at this point. Been doing it for way too long. And it's helped me in writing in general, don't get me wrong. But I should apply it to other stuff, because even different types of writing or take up different talents, just like different types of art, different industries
Mhm.
in art
And there's
rely
also
upon
there's
different
also
talents.
also you're looking for different artists for different things. Some people have a natural talent for doing this. I'm not even talking about like some guys who do monsters, some guys who do scenes, I'm talking about like an artist has a style that you want, as opposed to
Yeah.
this other artist who is very good and has a natural affinity for fantasy, but it isn't what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. Artists have a certain style, especially the better ones that you can recognize and look
Right.
at.
And
And
so
you
you got to
go,
take that into consideration too.
"Yep, that's like
In fact, I was looking at some of the recent drawings I did. I seem to do a lot of landscapes. I think I'm turning into Bob Ross. But
maybe a rock lives here. Break out your magic white, or your magical
here's a
white."
tree. Here's a tree and a friendly little treant, because everybody needs a friend. But I look at it and I go, it's all deserts and stuff. I think I'm doing D&D by way of spaghetti westerns. So,
Well, I
and
don't know if that's
that's a
bad, man.
style.
That's
Well,
"Symphony
that's
of
where I get
Gold," man,
most
is
of
the
my.
song that comes into my head.
Yeah, I'll have to show them to you, sometime.
No,
But
definitely.
that's a style. Not
Right,
everybody's going to want that. Matt uses my stuff for the Mythgarther stuff. He uses a lot of other artists. There's a big, good artist in his book, but he'll use one or two of my drawings. I mean, I was playing in a Mythgarther session, and I was just sitting there and I drawn a landscape because I do that sometimes. And he looks at, oh, that's real cool. Can I use it in the book? I said, here you go. And it's in the second edition. You know,
nice.
and but like I said, I don't know my worth monetary wise, so it's like, how much you want for this? Take it. you know I know that's not good business, but
Well,
he's
and
a
and
friend.
and right, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. A lot of what we do in this industry, especially at our level, and when I
Mhm.
say our level, it's that we create without really worrying about profit. So we're not even worried about freelancing,
Artists are
right?
like
Really?
real artists who have a passion for drawing do that. If you
Oh,
have
they're
a
very
passion
generous
for
with stuff,
anything, I
right?
mean, they will. I've seen people that will just draw on a napkin. They'll draw because their mind is working like that, and they can produce. I
Right.
can't produce, but they can produce. I mean, look, it still staggers me how much Janelle Jacquet's turns out as far as artwork goes. And we're not just talking about, ink sketches. We're talking about full blown, paintings and things like that.
Right.
It just blows my mind. But artists will, fortunately she's set up where, okay, this is my rates, all this other stuff. But at the
Hmm.
same time, she's probably sitting at home doing on something.
I
Artists do
mean,
that.
well, you
I
know
don't
what? And
know. I
some
don't think
writers say
writers.
I'm going to tend to disagree with that because listen, we both know James Bond. James is the most prolific writer. He reached out to me today. He's like, "How's Torchlight going?" And I've been sitting on Torchlight now for months. It's like this close to going out with the next issue, and I haven't gotten there. Just lots of shit going on. But
Mhm.
I'm like, why? Because, I got more stuff for you. And I know the projects that he's attached to and he's working on, and he's got these ideas cropping through his head. And he's like, I'm just going to, get it out this week and get it to you. You use it when you want it. And that's like a lot of the artists that I know that are always drawing, or James is always writing. He's always,
Right.
and it's not because he's necessarily looking to hustle. His mind is always working. My mind is often halfway shut down. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to blame it on that. But
I'm always tired. So,
but there are in our industry, there are a few people like a James Bond, like a Courtney Campbell, that first of all, you'll recognize their work when they write it, because they have a certain style. And also, if they work on a project that isn't their own, and a lot of times they work on their own projects, but if they work on a project that isn't their own, they have a fan base that will go to that publisher with them. Just like you have artists that have styles that you recognize, and them on a cover can bring in people. But
you
other
want to know
than
that?
well,
Oh yeah. No, I was going to say, another person who just writes like crazy. I just got this from Glen Seal.
Oh,
Monkey
Glen
Blood
is
Design.
yes, Glen is amazing.
And I didn't ask for it. He just said, "Oh, I got to send it to you." So he sent it to me, and I've got half a shelf of his stuff, and he's still cranking out stuff.
But then I'm not.
And not only that, he does the sign jobs too. I mean,
oh yeah. He's always
no. I mean,
he's doing
he
work for others.
does like look at second edition of Astonishing Swordsman. He did the map.
Yes, he does maps for a lot, and he does stuff for Tim Schwartz.
He's writing. He's drawing.
Yeah.
It's
amazing. By the way, as an aside, those of you who were watching, I wasn't pouring a beer; I was pouring a hop tea, which is kind of like my beer substitute, I guess you could say.
And if you guys were watching me, I was drinking Cherry's Dr. Pepper, so I'm not supposed to.
Woohoo! Cherry Dr. Pepper, cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper is what I like. Haven't had that in probably since I retired. It's been my go-to at lunchtime. But
well, my Monday game, when we used to go over to Jimbo's house, his wife would they go to Arkansas or something like that and bring home like 5, 6, 12 packs of cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper, because you can't find it anywhere else around here. And I return the favor every once in a while, because I know one Walmart way out in the boonies who has Mr. Pibb.
Yeah.
So I'll bring her a 12 pack of Mr. Pibb, and she's like, "Hey, thank you." Anyway,
there you go.
I digress.
But no, it's okay. But again, if you're working for somebody else, especially if you're working under contract, it's a little bit different if you're a staff. If you are staff, you might get a little bit more, dare I say, respect is probably not the right word, but you have maybe a little bit more authority to go off script. But if you are a freelancer, you are given an assignment and they expect you to stick with it. And if you want to continue being a freelancer, you generally don't air your grievances publicly, which I would say is
we're leading up to something here.
Well, no, that was the Candy Mysteries.
You're right, John. It does sound like that.
Hops tea. Well,
sounds like a euphemism for beer.
Yeah, it kind of it's from a brewery. Carbonated water, hops, Simcoe and Citra, organic black tea, citric acid, 0 calories, 0 alcohol, but it's refreshing. And I'm not saying I won't drink after the cast, but at the moment I'm not drinking. I'll save my drinking for later on tonight.
What were you saying about? You were leading up to something there.
Well, Candlekeep Mysteries, which was
I haven't been following.
Well, this is the Adventure Compilation for 5e. I think the last time it hit the gaming news was when they included the handicapped accessible or wheelchair accessible dungeon within it, and that got a lot of talk. But what it's an adventure compilation published by Wizards of the Coast, where they wanted to get underrepresented members of the gaming community to participate. And Graham, known as PC Gamer Online, POC Gamer, sorry, POC Gamer. It was a big critic of Wizards of the Coast for not being progressive enough. So they brought him in to write an adventure, and he basically had a hissy fit in the end because although they did go back and forth a little bit for some tweaks and corrections, in the end, what they published was his adventure with pretty much all of the world-defining fluff for the Forgotten Realms that he put in with the Gripply tree frog creatures and God, I forget what the other race, Yuan-Ti. He was doing this connection between the two. It was going to define stuff in the Forgotten Realms. He wasn't brought in to make lore. He was brought in to write an adventure. And once he got paid, he thought they accepted it as it was. No, they accepted the adventure and basically hacked out all his lore, which he felt didn't make it what it was, and he wants his name removed from future printings. I don't know if there can be future printings of it. It's apparently not the highest selling of the releases, but that's probably because people like Graham and most of the other creators, the best I can tell, this was their first published work. Now, listen, I don't play 5e, but if you give me an opportunity to get published by Wizards of the Coast, I'd probably jump at it. I think many people in our hobby would, because it's the granddaddy right now of gaming companies. To get published by them would be awesome, So, and especially since I am not a published adventure writer or anything, you have to figure. I would figure, only because I guess maybe I know people that are publishers, that publishers want what they want and they don't want what they don't want, and what you think is great. And if you were a creator, I'm sure you generally think that everything that you create is great.
Yeah.
But the publisher is going to say, you know what? I like the seed, I like the adventure here, but I don't need all this world-defining fluff. Chop that out and make it simple. Because again, also too, they want an adventure that anybody can drop into their home campaign. The more lore you put into the adventure, the less useful it is for a home campaign. So a lot of times, simpler is better. Now, I thought
I understand
the lore that he had discussed sounded interesting, but this is where I come to the conclusion that if you want to write lore about a setting, you should be writing your own setting. You shouldn't be worrying about somebody else's sandbox, because they're going to have their own visions of it. Wizards of the Coast has, I'm sure, rails and guidelines for every type of world-altering potential. And they have, like, the Forgotten Realms has been around since the early 80s, right? So why would they want new lore put into it that they didn't say, hey, we want new lore dealing with the Gripply and the Yuan-Ti. Go. As opposed to, dude, we want an adventure. What the hell is this shit? And I think that's kind of what it came down to. But the individual in question, I don't know if butthurt's too strong a phrase, but since they went public complaining about it on Twitter and their own blog, I would say that they were very insulted that their work was changed to the point that, again, the lore was stripped out, only the core of the adventure was left.
It's going to happen in any entertainment.
It's going to happen. I've spoken to two other publishers and read something from a third publisher, Lewis Porter. And basically, that's par for the course. If you are a freelancer and you're writing for a company, they will take what they want from what you write. And if they think it's easier for them to rewrite it than having it go back and forth, they'll rewrite it. Because you are, if your feelings get hurt, that's not business. They're worried about the business aspect. Your feelings aren't part of it. It's like, I was like, oh, all right, listen, Glenn, we like your submission. However, I hope you're not really attached to this lore you put in about gully dwarves, because there are no gully dwarves in Forgotten Realms. So we're taking that shit out. Or even better, Yeah, Glenn, thank you for the submission. Here's your check. We got a little editing to do, but we'll get back to you and we'll send you your author's copy later on down the line. And then you find out the editing changes later. Guess what? You got paid. You got paid. I hate to say it, as a freelancer, your only concern should be, are you getting paid for the work that you did?
Depends on what's in the contract too.
Yes. Apparently, the contract in question.
If you can negotiate something like, if you want something, let me know and I will change it type of thing.
Right. I think, and that's very important as an artist, definitely, because the artist is the one that has to. But when it comes to writing, an editor can go in
I do that with anybody who wants my work. Right. I will give it to them and I will say, "Is this the way you want it? Let's talk." I've been wanting to start a Fiverr to do voiceover for games, for role-playing games. You don't want to read the box text? Let me do it for you. I can play characters for you. I can give you a narration. And it's like, okay, I'll do 3 paragraphs for $5 or whatever. But during that process, I will be with a back and forth with them. I will give it to them and say, what do you think?
Right.
Oh, okay. Can you try it a little more like this? Or I don't like that. Fine. Okay. No problem. And I've seen voiceover people on there saying, okay, you get so many edits for $5, you get so many changes for $5 because you got to keep a limit to it, but I'm saying to me, it's a back and forth between the client and me. I will give you what you want, but you tell me if I am giving you what you want.
Well, here, I'm going to take it one step further and say that in the case of this individual, he claims that they apparently had more of an interaction with other creators than with him. But I strongly suspect that other creators didn't have, and I'm smiling at this one because I know I'm the bird of the ass and to a lot of what I would call miscreant personalities within our community. But apparently, since he was somebody who was a burn in the ass of Wizards of the Coast for years, and complained about them, I strongly suspect, and again, I have no inside knowledge, I strongly suspect that the editor was of the mindset of, fuck, is he paid? He's paid? All right, so I don't have to deal with him anymore? All right, take that shit out, rewrite it this way, keep the adventures good enough for a first-timer, we can tighten it up and get rid of all that fucking fluff. Nobody needs that shit. Don't, whatever. We're done with him. We paid him, and it's done. And I suspect that is something that could quite likely have happened. Don't know for sure. But when you come into a situation where it's suspected that you are already a person that is difficult to work with, I would gather that they would rather cut their connection with you as early as possible. Now, that being said, when you air your, and again, I'm friends with a lot of creators, freelancers, and otherwise within this industry and community of ours. If you air your grievances in public, if you go out and you tweet about it, you go to Facebook, you do it on your blog or whatever. And his blog doesn't have a huge reach, but still, I guess, his tweets get looked at.
It's got some reach.
Yeah, but you know what? You are going to close doors, not just with Wizards of the Coast, but any major publisher is going to say that you are not worth the drama that you bring to the table, and that sucks, especially if you want to be a freelancer. Now, maybe all you want to do is to say, "Hey, I did this." And I did this, and I don't want to be recognized for it. I want my name off the project. So it's kind of like saying, haha, I did it, and take me off it. So I somehow I'm winning because I want to be taken off, my name off it. But it kind of defeats the purpose if you actually had a desire to work in the industry. John Miller, Wizards of the Coast can't catch a break. They get criticized no matter what they do. Of course, I don't like them either. You know what? Here's the problem, too. When you are the big hoobah, you are the bully that everybody, and I'm not saying Wizards of the Coast is a bully, but when you're the one on top of the pile, everybody wants to knock you down because
Right.
you are the big target. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast is gonna get that. And
Hey,
what?
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
No,
Go.
no. She said, "Hey," I was like,
No, I
"Well, I don't
just
know."
noticed I've been working in creative industries, TV, film, and publishing for over 30 years. With few exceptions, everything I've written has been altered, sometimes significantly, before release. Wild Die Woodard, which is Scott Allen Woodard, who wrote this.
Ah,
And I just say, and this is my next review.
nice. But
But
it's
he's
true.
I saw his resume in the back of the book and going, you're doing all the stuff I want to do. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm
But no,
sorry.
but Wild Die has a great point there, and that's I've heard from other freelancers, and if their work escapes unscathed, they figure they probably had an editor that wasn't doing their work, because nobody submits anything that's perfect out of the box. Maybe you're submitting to a zine, okay,
Right.
but if you're submitting to Woods of the Coast, and they pretty much want you to change things around, and all of a sudden you did what you oh, I got one revision, and they took my one revision. They didn't take your one revision, dude. They probably, and again, I'm not part of the process. I know nobody at Wizards of the Coast, but I would say that it's quite possible that after they got their first revision, when they told him he had to cut his word count, and the initial word count that he was given was like 8,000 max. He came in at like 72, 73, and they had him cut it back to like 65. In the end, it was cut back to like 55.
Yeah,
he was like, well, they gave me 8,000 words. I didn't even hit that. No, dude. They say 8,000 words because they know they're gonna be cutting. You know, they know they're gonna cut. And if they told you 6,000, you probably still do 8,000. They have to give themselves room to cut. But I don't know.
I understand that. I understand that. Totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, I can understand there's some creators, some freelancers who are a PITA to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that first. In the early 90s, I had a roommate, and we were going to publish this. We were going to do this supplement for Champions that we came up with. Kids, kid superheroes. Kind of it was almost like Hero High or something. What we called it, Hero High, like Sky High or something, like only real quirkier. And every time I said, let's do this, I come up with characters, let's do this, and he comes up with stuff. Every time I wanted to modify or change anything that not only he did, but I did, he just turned to me and say, well, that's not my concept for it. And after about 2 or 3 sessions of this, I said, fine, let's not do this. It's not. So I can understand why the publishers are a little gun shy of, working with freelancers.
Right.
That's the flip side of it.
Right. And if you're bringing in one that you already know is a shitster, I would think that you'd probably be very happy to end the back and forth communications as early as possible. Again, I mean, I don't know if there could have been a good resolution to this. You have somebody coming into this who, again, from my reading of it, believes that they submitted awesome work, and again, they were going to bring this new lore to the Forgotten Realms, and they were excited about that, and that's what got cut, because that's not what they were asked to do. And that is the whole. We think that the work that we do is awesomely amazing, and the reality is, it's our child. Our work is our baby. It better be amazing to us.
I've never thought of it. I've never thought of my work as that way. I mean, yes, I'm proud of it, and yes, I'd like to see it done like that. But my stuff ain't sacred, whether I'm drawing or writing. It's not sacred. It just isn't.
No,
because I know it's going to change somewhere down the line.
And that's the right attitude to have, Glenn. But you've been in this industry now.
At the same time, I'm not going to be walked over.
No, but you've been in this industry. You've been doing this for a while. Again,
Well,
this is it's one thing.
I'll
It's one
tentatively
thing,
agree with you.
right? But and also you know you're friends with, your acquaintances with creators within this industry.
Mhm.
You know people. You've heard their trials and
Their side
tribulations.
of it.
You know what they've gone through. My take on this is that POC gamer Graham hasn't experienced that. This is his first experience in the
Could
industry,
be.
and it can be shocking. Now, does that also fall into the larger scheme of things of are are we in a society sometimes that shields people from the reality of what this stuff entails? Like freelancing means if you're especially again, my take on this is that he was reached out to and said, "Hey, do you want to submit to this? Do you want to participate in this project?" Generally, as a freelancer, you are pitching left and right. They're not approaching you, and that means rejection, rejection, rejection. That's just part of it. Even the best get rejected, and
Right.
you know, it isn't the everybody gets a prize and everybody gets a trophy. It's there are, let's just say, three projects looking for freelancers, and there are 53 freelancers submitting for these projects. Most of them are going to be found out to be they're left out in the cold. Doesn't mean that
Yeah.
work wasn't good,
Hey,
but when
the
there's always more submitting than there are
right,
positions available.
right. The cream always rises to the top, and two, there are way too many factors in getting your work accepted that you can really compensate for or even think about. It may come down to nothing that you even remotely. My wife didn't like it. It's out.
Yeah.
That kind of
Oh,
thing.
I have seen and spoken with people where, like, I can't believe that I'm no longer getting work from this company, and why? Sometimes creative directors change, and somebody
Mhm.
just doesn't like your style, and all of a sudden you were getting all these freelance contracts, and now you get nothing, and that is sadly part of it. But again,
Yeah.
this applies to pretty much any job that you have that where you're working for somebody other than yourself. If you are working for anybody,
As
you
a
are
freelancer.
not in this. Well, even as as a cop, again, you are a cog. You are replaceable. You are interchangeable to a large extent.
Well,
You may
there
think,
is, yeah. What you're trading on if you're a
you
cog is job security.
right, and here and the truth is, there isn't much job security in most positions because even those that like to, like, I'm going to hold my knowledge close to the vest. Well, you know what? That case in point, when I became uh, a comp stat doing statistics and maps, I was
Mhm.
brought into the unit with the idea was I was there for 2 weeks. I was covering somebody's vacation time, and then I get spoken to by the civilian out in charge of doing assignments and roll calls, and she's like, you know that you're being permanently transferred. I go, what? I'm only there to cover vacations. No, 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 no. You're being brought in to do. I go, huh? And sure enough, I was brought in to do it, and I was told to do maps, and the person that tried to teach me tried specifically not to teach me so I would fail. And yes, I spent 20 days over the course of 20 hours over the course of 2 days trying to do something that should have taken an hour and a half. But in the end, I figured it out because nobody's irreplaceable. And when I left that position, when I got promoted, somebody stepped right in and took it over. Everybody was trained.
There you go.
It's going to get worked out. Nobody's irreplaceable. So
Yeah. Well,
it's
anyway,
all
that's
right.
the life of a freelancer. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. Um,
No. So Glenn, you had something that you wanted to discuss today.
I think I did. And
No.
And I just wanted to say, Wild Die, you did the Flash Gordon RPG for Savage Worlds? Wow, this shows you I didn't read the back of the book. anyway, I looked at his credits and I guess must have skimmed over that part. But anyway, I wanted to talk about XP. I want to talk about experience points, how you give it out. Do you give it out as milestones or do you give out the experience points for leveling up? I have a specific opinion on that, but I'm going to let you go first.
I you know what? My opinion has changed on this over the years.
So is mine.
Initially, when I first started GMing, obviously it was by the book XP, and then it became all right. Well, every creature's it's shared XP, but whoever gets the killing blow gets half, and then the rest of the party skips half. It splits half, and then it was that's just too much work. So now we're going to just go one level per session, which is how we got 18th and 20th level characters. And then we went back to XP, and then we went to second edition, where second edition changed it from being gold heavy to class specific XP. And I'll be honest,
up until then, it always was class specific, wasn't it?
No. First edition didn't do. No, first edition did not have XP for spellcasting. It had XP for
no, but I mean each class had an XP chart.
Chart. But I'm saying in second edition it was spellcasters got XP for casting spells, and thieves got XP for doing thief abilities. That was not in first edition, so that changed the dynamics of it. Now, I found that as I've gotten older, when I came back to gaming, I like the idea of being the gaming accountant a lot less than I did when I was gaming earlier. So, when I used to game in my college days, my usual group, except for my college group, but my home group was usually 3 or 4 players. Sometimes we hit like 8 or 9, but those sessions were always wacky sessions anyway. But when we're playing AD&D, I didn't want to track XP for 3 or 4 people, let alone 8 or 9. So now, when I came back to gaming, did I track XP? Yeah, but it was a bit more freewheeling than it was earlier. And when I did Swords and Wizardry Light, when I put that together, was the first thing I jettisoned because I didn't want to have to explain the concept of XP. I jettisoned XP and just used 2 sessions of
milestone
play. Kind of, 2 sessions for level 2 and another 3 sessions for level 3. So Sword Wizardry Light theoretically could last you 5 sessions before you.
I like the refinement you did in Continual Light, where you kept going that way, but the subclasses they had to do like 1 or 2 sessions more to get up.
Right, and then we had the alternate advancement points, whatever, for after level 7, so you can still get additional abilities, again, based upon sessions. Now, there is a problem with that sessions part. I was as a GM, if the players something really great and awesome, it's like, all right, I'm gonna give everybody a bonus 500 experience points because you guys really rocked. That was awesome. When you're doing things as a milestone, when you're doing things by session, you don't have the ability to give out extra XP. So what do? So I experimented with giving out luck points. And a luck point was, all right, a luck point was you can re-roll a roll, or if you got hit, you can have a roll re-rolled that was hitting you. It wasn't a huge amount of a bonus, but it was a little bit of a bonus. That was a limited bonus.
In my Monday game, Carlos is running 5e Eberron. He gives out, the action points. Yes, Daikuit is a Crown Royal hat. There you go. He gives out, the action points. He'll give out extra action points for rewards, since it's Eberron. Okay. I was trying to figure out buying them because my take is I will do milestone advancement if the game has 1 experience point track for every level. If there's separate experience points tracked, I usually go back to giving out XP. Now, I'd love to find a way to combine those I think you're on the right track by what you're doing. Because if you can combine, say, oh, I'm going to give you an extra session or something
Right.
because you did that awesome thing with the ogre, or a
Right.
half a session or something
And
like that.
you could do that with continual light, because to go from level 4 to level 5 is 5 sessions. So you could say, all right, well, you did amazing, so we're going to give you credit for an extra session. You
Right.
could certainly do that. It's
I
harder
bring
to do it at the earlier levels, though, because the spread isn't there.
True. I brought this up because there was one of the Facebook groups brought up, and it was getting pretty nasty too. It was getting pretty nasty. I mean, people were calling each other names and stuff like that over this, because one guy claimed that Milestone Experiences is lazy DMing, and I just put, yeah, because I'm a lazy DM.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the GM saying, okay, they should level now, which is okay in most circumstances, but it seems kind of knee-jerk to me. It seems kind of like, take a level, everybody take a level. And I started doing that with Astonishing Swordsman, and then I stopped because I realized that, okay, the barbarian is going up slower than the thief or the fast. There was some disparity there between the classes. You got 26 classes in that game, so
right.
Oh,
and
so
by the way, real quick, folks, if you like Astonishing Swordsman and Swords of Hyperborea, if you haven't tried it yet, if you want to check it out, Bundle of Holding. Go to Bundle of Holding. It is the current bundle. It's worth investing just for the adventures. The adventures are great. They'll play with any OSR system of your choice, but the system is a great system. I just wanted to throw that out there and not forget about it. So.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. John Miller, I do XP for GP only. Incentivizes treasure hunting and reward success, not mere participation, and no incentive to kill monsters, but for their treasure. That's a good point. That's the way I should have done it when I ran my grandchildren through 1E's Salt Marsh, because I thought, okay, I'm going to give them points for gold. Boy, that was a mistake, because I was giving them XP for everything else too. And it's like, we could level 3 times by the time we got done with this.
Well, but 1E was designed, and I think Basic was designed the same way, that the majority of your experience points was to come from treasure, mostly from the gold that you accumulated.
That motivates you to kill the monster. Yes, as he was saying.
But you still got XP from the monsters, but it wasn't nearly as large. You also got XP from magic items that you use. So if you got a +1 sword, I think that was 400 XP.
Well, I was looking even far back as 2nd edition, the XP for monsters was getting way out of hand. If you're going to do it that way.
Because I think with 2nd edition they took away the XP for gold. I could be wrong about that. I used to know.
Could be. Yeah. I think I would, if I could just give it for gold, that would be good. I think I should try that, because the other way, if I do it and give them for monsters killed or whatever role playing, it's going to get out of hand unless I do stuff like, okay, how much gold did you get? You get half of that as XP or something.
Well, you have to remember too, a system like 1E, in theory, and I say in theory because I don't really think it worked the way it was intended, but in theory, the classes were balanced by the experience point table. So yes, the thief was underpowered, but they would level up quicker, thereby balancing that out.
That's one of the reasons why I went back to the XP, the individual XP table, giving out XP, is because I realized, okay, they're doing this for a reason. The classes are supposed to level the way they're supposed to level.
So yeah, that was always a quirk of this. I don't know if you hear the non-burglar in my kitchen, I think it's Rach. I was just like, what the hell is
Let me get the baseball bat.
I got my expandable baton. I'll flip it out and break my computer screen. That's probably not the wisest.
Anyway, like I said, Milestone XP ain't bad, but like I said, it feels kind of like automatic. Okay, after every third session, they're automatically going to go up in level. Well,
right. Well, again, it depends on how you are running your campaign and what the expectations are. I think that Milestone XP can work. I think, to tell you the truth, I think it works better if you're running your campaign episodically, where each adventure is kind of its own, and time in between doesn't matter, and everything wraps
maybe
up and
have
you
like
start again.
two or three
But
sessions, and then you're on to something else. Yeah.
right, but I think that because then it's like, all right, you're kind of like rebooting, and now you're rebooting it. Now you're all fourth level, whatever. But I think if you're running like a sandbox campaign, then I think that something like XP, individual XP and individual tables have more value. That's just me.
Good point. Good point, Woodard.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
What's it say there? It says from 2E as an option, the DM can award XP for the cash value of non-magical treasure. Then ends with overuse of this option can increase tendency to give out too much treasure. Oh, good old TSR. Always know when they're throwing a monkey wrench in and letting you know.
Oh,
don't do this, but
yeah, but or by the way, don't use any of our complete handbooks because none of them have been play tested. But we do want you to buy them because it puts money into our coffers and gives us more experience points. So please buy them. I mean, I told you my story, right, Glenn, with the complete handbooks. I ordered one complete handbook and a poster from the hobby shop, the mail order hobby shop, and I get a box from mail order hobby shop, and it's huge. And I open it up, and it's like one of every complete handbook for second edition, but no poster. So I'm looking at this, and I'm like, what the? And I already had a lot of these books, but not all of them. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not saying a word. I was in college at the day. I was, part-time job. And
my friend Kenny have that around.
Yeah, well, my friend Kenny was in law school at the time. He was rooming. So I get these answering machine messages being left back when we had answering machines, and this is I don't know who it was, so I'm not going to venture a guess, but this is so and so from the mill order hobby shop. You have product that you did not pay for and belongs to us. You must ship it back to us. And I was like, Ken, what do I do? He goes, did you sign for it? I go, no, it was at the door when I got home from work. He goes like, yeah, they sent it. You're not responsible for it. They screwed. Then it was like, you really need to send this back to us. I guess whoever screwed up, because I think what happened, it was two different people with the first name of Eric. So the other Eric got my poster, and I got all the books that he was supposed to get, and I guess he got one handbook. So yeah.
Well, that's the last time you ever ordered from them.
Yeah, damn Skippy. Actually, I think I was using my $5 coupon that my award I got at Gen Con back in '92 for the tournament play. I made it. I made it to the second round of a tournament and won $5 in credit from the mail order hobby shop. So I still have a book somewhere. Yeah, I was putting it toward a book, and instead I got the treasure, that hidden treasure. I never acknowledged it. Yeah, my gaming group was happy because I think half the books already had. I was like, all right, who gets this one? Who gets that one? That was my bane. When I gave out the complete book of elves, my campaign went down to fucking shitter because that book was so unbalanced. Bladesingers suck shit. Oh my god, they're horribly unbalanced.
Then I go over to Thaco's Hammer and listen to Brian and Full On Gamer go wax rhapsodic over the Bladesinger.
See, it's not just me. It's like, fuck, man.
They said that's the best class. That's the best kit.
It's the most overpowered. It's why everybody loves it. If you're a player and the DM, you go, holy shit, this is not balanced at all. But the reality is that they never play tested that stuff. They just write the book and put it out. That's why it
Yeah,
was.
they even
Yeah.
admitted it. I was at North Texas the year that they had who was it? Dave Winter, and they had a
Steve Winter.
yeah, Steve Winter, who had they had a forum, and this is fun. This is funny. It was like 2011, and it's like one of the first, about the third, I think, North Texas, and they had this panel with Dave Winter and Zeb Cook and all these people who worked on 2E, and he. Bad Mike came up to me and Vince, who was also at the con, and said,
Right.
"Hey, ask him some questions because there's not enough people here." And so Vince asked a couple of questions, and my question was, "Did you actually play test all those kits in those books?" And he said, "At first, yes. But as the series went on, we play tested less and less. We just wanted to get them out the door."
Bladesinger being one of them. I'm sure. John Miller in OD&D, the large value items like castles, ships, and magical research seem to be intended as a sink for that excess treasure. Even AD&D, money and time sink to level up if you play those rules, remember?
Why else after 8th or 9th level you would be able to establish a stronghold or something? That's a gold sink right there.
Yeah, but didn't it cost like I don't want 500 gold pieces times like your level squared or something like that to go up in level? It was some outrageous amount that it's like, I'm going to level, so let me bring over a half a ton of gold to pay for my leveling. That was what was my issue with gold in D&D. How could you ever?
Yeah.
How could you ever hide it? So
John says, "Great question for 2E designers, Glenn." Lol. It's I'm still friends with Winter and Zeb Cook, which is surprising. So that was a good thing. But hey, XP, you got to do what you got to do. I'm doing the bean counting now with my campaign. So
yeah. God bless you for doing it. God, and I'll be honest with you. If I write up classes for Swords and Wizardry, I would write them up for Swords and Wizardry, complete the full rules with the experience point charts, and then after doing that, then I would just strip those charts out and use them with Swords and Wizardry Light, because I think that But really, again, as a way of balancing classes, experience point tables were probably not the best way to do it. But
I think it works. It's clunky, but it works.
Perhaps, but they get.
I may not. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You, Glenn. You.
No, I was just going to say, I'm doing the bean counting for Astonishing Swordsman. I may not get it right all the time, but who does?
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't getting the bean counting right when I was keeping track of my own experience points as a player. It was just kind of, because my problem was I had a blotter from what was it? Gold Piece Productions, the British company that does like a lot of the mapping and stuff. And I had a desk blotter the size of my desk, and my desk blotter was where I keep track of everything, including my character's hit points and experience points. But my problem is, in between sessions, I would be writing other wacky shit on it, and then I'd have to try to look at this and go, "Where's my latest XP? Wait a second, where's that magic item I picked up in the last session?" Not the most organized way to run your character sheet, because it really wasn't a character sheet.
Well,
but
I was doing stuff like looking up all the classes chart of the players' charts, and what I was doing is like, okay, it takes them this much to get from X, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, whatever, and I will take that. Okay, I will find the class that it takes the most to get to a next level, and half that, and give that to everybody.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough.
And I haven't done any XP rewards yet. Probably next session, next week. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's math is. I need simple math. I really do.
here's the thing too. Like when I do use experience points, when I run a game that uses experience points, what I like to do, and this is part of the lazy DM in me, I tell my players, especially if you have a blog, this is what I want you to do. I want you before next session to do a session write up, and if you don't have a blog, I want you to do a session write up and mail it to me. And the reason why is twofold. They would get a 10% experience point bonus for doing the write up, which it can be sizable. But secondly, generally speaking, I don't I'm so busy running the adventure, I'm not taking notes of everything that happened. So now I'll get 4 or 5 in character perspectives from my players as to what happened. And a lot of times, I'm not saying that they conflict, but they don't necessarily follow one another, which is interesting. But it's always been a great resource as a DM. So if you want a DM trick that you haven't used yet, or you haven't thought about yet, and I'm not the only one that's ever used it, I know that. But it is a great way to make sure that your players and you are pretty much on the same page. And by that, too, you get to know what actually your players are paying more attention to. You get to know what's exciting them. You thought that was just a throw-in encounter when they dealt with the witch in the woods. That was just a random encounter. But you know what? 2 of your players are thinking about what's going to happen with that, and there'll be a follow-up. Well, now you have an idea. Well, I can use that as a follow-up, and my players will be invested in it because they already are. So
that's right. That's a good thing. That is a real good thing. By the way, are you doing any games lately? I mean, are you in any games lately?
I'm in nothing. I want to get something started on my end, but I have been highly distracted, especially now that spring is sprung, and I've been doing a lot of gardening, getting stuff ready. I think that'll wrap up for about a month when we get the sod put in, because I won't be able to walk anywhere to get to stuff. So I'll have about a month of not doing anything. So hopefully then I can do things like get Swords and Wizardry Torchlight next issue out, and either run an irregular game using possibly Owlbear Rodeo, or do a play-by-post game, run a play-by-post game. I'm not sure. Maybe a mix of the two. I just got to figure this out.
Play-by-post.
Yeah, again, maybe have both going in the same world. Have something where players can drop in and drop out and move to play-by-post for the interim. We'll see. I don't know. I got to figure out the details to it.
I'm sorry, but to me, play-by-post isn't really gaming. Online isn't much better, but at least I get to talk to people. I don't know. It's like to me, it's like those people who play chess by the mail. Queen to knight 4. 3 months later.
Isn't that how diplomacy was played?
Was it? I never played.
A lot of times, yeah. I played it in college, and we actually had it. We played it as a daily note to our referee, and then so it was a slow moving game, but daily it was like, oh, okay, now with the new alliances swinging around too. What's going on here? What's going on there? But now again, that was 30 years ago. Oh my God. Am I gray hair showing through that much? Yeah, probably.
I've got the Monday game online. I've got the Thursday game every other Thursday at a table, believe it or not, with people, which is great. And I'm also racking my brain to get a Gangbusters game written for the con, because there's a lot of people who will be disappointed if I don't.
Okay, that's cool.
Still working. I thought of using Owlbear Rodeo to play test it with a few people, but
I
haven't come up with anything yet. So still working on that. I want to get it. I want to get the idea up and at least posted on the website, so people can start signing up.
You know,
And I'll. Oh, go ahead.
I want to like I want this North Texas to be the first convention for me in a number of years where I actually playing games. So if I run anything, it'll probably be a pickup game. And
You too,
James, yeah,
Jay.
we'll look forward to seeing
You
you too
too.
at North Texas. Um, the idea is, I know with Bad Mike, Wednesday night we're gonna do a talking crit live from the con. If we are free on Friday night, we could do a live stream. Yeah, and I was telling Mike that we got to do it the live stream in a room that only allows people that are vaccinated in it, so I don't have to do my live stream with my mask on. You know, so
I wouldn't do it with my mask on anyway.
Well, yeah, I know, but
I mean, I'll
I'm
have my
just
mask
trying
on
to.
at the con, but not for the. I'm going to take it off for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my gator with me because and this is I am fully vaccinated, so the CDC says basically I'm not going to be somebody passing on a virus to anybody. So by
Next
having my
Thursday, I
gator,
will be.
I can
Yeah.
pull it up and
Next
pull it
Thursday,
down,
I
pull
will
it up, pull
be.
it down.
I will be fully vaccinated by next Thursday.
All right, so there's cheers to Glenn.
Cheers to me. I need all the cheers I can get.
Well, here
Yes.
we have the holiday weekend. If you're Christian, unless you're Eastern Orthodox, I'm not sure if their Easter matches up with our Easter this year. But this Sunday is Easter Sunday, and
Unfortunately.
well, at least for us, me, Rachel, and my parents. So this household is fully vaccinated. My mother's cousin Joni is coming from New Jersey. She's fully vaccinated. So now my sisters and her husband. My sister has a first shot. Shannon's 10. She's not getting a shot. My brother doesn't have a shot, but they can come over and we don't have to wear masks because they can't infect us and we can't infect them. So it can be a normal Easter. It can be a normal family gathering, and I am so looking forward to the relaxation of that. And I'm already figuring that for the cast on Sunday, maybe I'm going to talk about resurrection, raised dead, and reincarnation spells in AD&D because it's just appropriate for the day of Easter.
So how would we do a live stream at the con?
I'll bring my laptop.
Okay.
And we'll just do it. We'll do it with StreamYard, but it will be one image.
Oh, one image. Do I need?
Image.
You know.
No headset because we're not gonna have anybody remote, so we won't need a headset.
Well, if there's a mic and I can hear them, then we're good.
Yeah, well, you're gonna hear everybody right next to each other, so right. It's not.
But yeah. I want the laptop to hear me.
Yeah, no. I'll have a decent microphone for the laptop, and I figure even with Bad Mike, we'll probably try to grab a few guests, and when we do it, we'll try to grab a few guests, and it'll be fun. And maybe Chris Doggy will bring his collection of really crappy alcohol, and we can have another alcohol testing this time. It was the four locos or the Fruit Loops flavored alcohol was like, I don't know, Chernobyl toxic waste with Fruit Loops. It was really, it was unique. I got to say, there aren't too many times you take something like that. And when you're pouring these little nip bottles into the caps, so that way everybody at the table could get a taste. And it was an interesting time had by all.
That's a hell of a way to do shots with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing a shot. How big is your shot? My shot is I don't know. No, it's not 10 milliliters. Maybe it's 2 milliliters. Yeah, that's the ticket.
John Miller, Gangbusters own it, haven't played it yet. Well, if you play your cards right, you're going to play it. If you come to North Texas, you'll play it. Because not only am I running it this time, but Mark Hunt is running it too.
Well, and if nothing else, bring your print copy and get Mark to sign it.
Yeah. I plan to do that too. And I think he'll be running Tall Tales too. his Western RPG.
Oh, okay.
That's
Good.
BX Western. Weehaw!
Yeehaw,
That'll be
folks.
fun.
Yeehaw.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know, man.
Did I help you,
I've got beer belches going on right now from my hot tea.
Well, if
It
I could
must
run
be
over
all the.
there, I'd squeeze you and let them all out.
Oh, you'd pat me in the back like a baby, and I would hear a big ass belch. I'm surprised I've been doing this for as long as I have, and I haven't really let a belch out during a cast yet. So
I've been burping all through, and you just couldn't hear me.
oh, I'm not saying I haven't belched. I mean, I can make some belches that are really quite loud, verbose,
Wow.
and they haven't been picked up
yeah.
on my mic yet. So I think
Okay.
if you come to North Texas, I'll grant you a couple of belches.
Yeah. Hey, I guess I can plug. I wanted to plug Blue Rooster garlic powder again.
Yes.
Only for the reason of the thing I told you the other night. You'll have to order Blue Rooster from the Blue Rooster website, folks, because all of our advertising on Facebook has been taken down because we're violating one of their what do they call them, guidelines. Because apparently to them we are engaging in commerce with poultry. They think we're selling roosters.
Commerce with poultry actually sounds like a euphemism for something else. But
I know,
you're engaging in commerce with
you're selling roosters. We can't have that on Facebook. It's
yes,
like,
no rooster selling, please.
It's like, what a bunch of idiots.
Because you're selling blue. Well, you see, here's what it is. It's blue roosters because of Easter. You know how people sell, or there were years when, because let's buy those fluorescent colored chicks for our kids. Here, happy Easter, and then like people are letting these chicks out in the yard, and they'll survive. They die. So I guess it's like, oh, I'm sure if this wasn't right before Easter, it wouldn't have gotten flagged. But instead, the algorithm.
Yeah, apparently garlic powder means we are selling livestock.
So you can butcher it yourself. You can butcher your own chickens. We'll sell you a blue rooster. Butcher yourself, and
we've got the garlic powder put on it.
The garlic. Oh, and it is good garlic powder, folks. I mean, my recipe called for 1 teaspoon, one half teaspoon, and I could probably gotten away with a 1/4 teaspoon. That's how. It's very aromatic, very very high quality. So I'm not selling it. I'm just giving a statement of quality that
I'm helping out the wife and us.
You're helping out the wife. I got you.
Now, if I could leverage that into like role playing games, I would, but I can't.
No.
I mean, other than taking bottles of garlic powder to the con and selling it, that's about all I can do.
No. I got you. Listen, how did I order my dice box with the nice Celtic design on it? I had to say, Rach, would you look at this? Oh, it's cool. I can use that for my jewelry. Well, good. That means I got to order one for myself now, and I guess one for my niece Shannon because she has a dice collection. And there, I already spent my money. Yeah, that was a good way to get the commission. So.
People know how to spend your own money.
Well, somebody has
their money. They spend my money.
Well, but something like that, folks. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Rach and I will be on with Gamers Health. It will be
a serious show this time.
Well, we were serious last time. We were talking about depression and suicide.
I missed that. I should have listened to it.
Yeah, and Rach is, she's a master's in social work. She has her undergraduate in psychology, so she's well trained in this. I am but a mere amateur. But again, it's a holiday weekend, and that carries its own weight with it. So we will be talking about stuff like that. Folks, I want to thank everybody who's been subscribing to this channel. And
thank you.
I would ask those that haven't subscribed yet, that are regular listeners, please do so. It helps us. Liking this helps us. Commenting is awesome too, because here's the thing. Glenn and I, Mike and I, Joe and I, when we do these live streams, these shows are better for your input. That is
That's
what
right.
we thrive on. And yes, John, we did max out our burp silently stat. That was a secret. I got that at character generation, so it was a good one to have. But really,
Oh yeah.
we do this because we enjoy interacting with you all. So you all interacting with us just makes it better for us, and hopefully for you. If you want to call and leave us a voicemail, 347-509-5168. We listen to them all.
Well, he does.
They're awesome. I do. All right, I do.
He does.
That's the truth of it. I do. But again, we appreciate it all, folks. I'm not a medical professional. Glenn's not a medical professional. We're in the midst of the world of COVID. Use your common sense. All right. Take actions that keep yourself, your loved ones, your friends, your family, your community healthy and safe. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Glenn, go ahead.
Listen to Thaco's Hammer. Listen to Radio Grognard. Hire me for voice or art. Oh, and
There
Blue
you go.
Rooster and Blue Rooster garlic powder. Buy some Blue Rooster garlic powder.
I can say it's really good, folks. Knock on wood. I'll be back again tomorrow with Gamers Health. All right, folks.
Bye-bye.
Good night.